Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Dan Davidson. Where have I been? Yeah, so there's been a few days that I took off to reorganize my thoughts. I practiced my own teaching. I told you guys that sometimes in life you need to take a few days to stay on track. And when you find that you are getting a little bit confused as to where your direction is, instead of stopping and deciding that, I'm gonna give up, just take some time off. Don't stop. Don't give up. Take some time off and reorganize. Reorganize your thoughts, reorganize your plans, and then decide how you're gonna approach your intended goal. And I did exactly that. In other words, I followed my own teaching, right? As I've always been teaching, as I've always been sharing, I decided that it was time that I did something a bit more exciting with my channel, because my businesses are growing, my team is expanding, and my directions are also expanding. So I needed to do something different and more exciting. My healthcare businesses are exploding in a way in different directions. And also my businesses that are related to business development and engineering and teaching and executive teaching and private equity, those are also expanding. So I just needed to see, well, how can I bring all of this together and reorganize some of my strategies. And also, I need a break. Sometimes we do. So here I am, back on track. I'm going to start interviewing some of the very successful business people, in fact, in their own environment, and ask them what is making their businesses successful. Ask them why they think their businesses have been so greatly received by the public. And we explore it, and I do some research, I share that with you, we come to some conclusion, we learn from it. I explore my own businesses, we research the businesses. Pretty much we look at it from an academic point of view, but we try to learn and grow from that education together, So interview others and look at it from an academic point of view and see, okay, what are we going to learn from this? What are we learning from this? What are we learning from that? And we engage others who, they're putting their input, and we'll take their input, we'll take some of the knowledge that's out there, put it together, and come to some conclusion and learn from that conclusion as well. Okay? For example, I have all these watches. I think in one of the channels, which I'm probably going to move that video or the videos onto this channel so that you guys are also aware of what those videos are talking about, because I'm a watch collector. I have many different watches. I love watches because I think the technology is quite interesting. And of course, I just love the different watch technologies that have evolved over the last couple of 100 years. Of all these watches, I love this one. Interesting, okay? I love this watch. So what is that watch? This is a diver's watch made by Seiko. It's a Japanese watch. And this Japanese watch is solar. solar powered, and so a solar powered watch that charges itself. I don't have to buy a battery. I don't have to worry about, if I have to leave it somewhere for days, at a time. It will just continue to perpetually charge itself. And then I wear it again and it's just accurate as it was. And it's just basically getting, set by, it's atomic, kind of communicating with the clouds, and it's interesting. It's the technology is so advanced, and but it looks really like a Rolex, and I just love the watch. It is waterproof, it's shatterproof. It's just incredible, this Seiko watch, just an incredible watch. And of course I like this design because it looks like a Rolex, right? And I do own several Rolexes and stuff, but I still wear this. I have a gold Rolex, but I prefer this because of the technology. Interesting, right? Just fits my lifestyle. And we go ahead and study together the history of Seiko company, right? And the history that they've had and how they've become successful and what we think has made them successful. We interview people who know about Seiko, who have been involved in Seiko, who are working in Seiko, and we'll take their perspective and we learn from that too, right? And who have made great amount of money with Seiko, right? And the competitors. Okay? Because Rolex, okay? Rolex is a family-owned company, right? Rolex has made millions and millions of dollars. It's an incredible company. Their production is numbered. They don't make just an incredible number of watches. They make certain designs and they make certain number per year of each design, right? And it's work of art. They're very similar, but they're work of art, some of them. They're extremely expensive and extremely valuable timepieces, right? And it's evolved over the course of almost 100 some years, so it has a history, right? And we study the history of Seiko and Rolex, and it's a quite an interesting history and what is making Rolex. So we study that and the business concept of it. Why is Rolex so successful? Because, think about it, okay? Rolex may be side by side, technology-wise, not even as advanced as this, right? Not as advanced as this. Yeah, it's an automatic perpetual movement, okay? So you don't need a battery, but you have to, with movement, it charges itself, right? And we do have Seikos that also have perpetual movements, right? But they're not as expensive as Rolex. So what makes Rolex besides branding, and we talk about the branding, so expensive. We have watches that are a whole lot, perhaps even better in quality than Rolex, arguably. And not as expensive as Rolex. Or they could last longer, not as expensive as Rolex. There are so many factors, and we interview people and let's see why, right? And we learn from that. It's opinion. So we get different people's opinion as to why do you think, and then we, I'll bring up some videos, we can share that knowledge and then compare them, let's say, and sort of learn from that, right? And quite educational. It's an academic study, but will have a meaning at the end of the day for us. And then when we pick a company that really eventually has certain characteristics that makes us feel like, hey, you know what? These characteristics makes this company look really, really, really valuable, but underpriced, or an opportunity for me, let's say, as a private equity owner, and maybe somebody is retiring and I could own that company or own a share in it or possibly take it over, I may not share the name, I may not share the specifics, but I may bring up some details of it. And then when it's all said and done, if I do finally take it over, then I will divulge why I did it and how I did it, right? And I may not buy it outright, because I don't like buying things outright, businesses outright. I prefer doing it in such way that it's sort of a transitional purchase. And I also like to involve the actual operator of the business. If the operator of the business has value for that business, I'd like to involve that operator and keep the operator involved in the business, because that's an asset. In fact, sometimes the operator is more of an asset than the business itself. In other words, there may be a business, which I'm actually negotiating one now, okay? There is a business that's valuable. The operator who owns the business is more valuable than the business. I want the operator more than I want the business, but I'm negotiating the business. I'm paying for the business, but I'm also contracting with the operator as a condition of purchasing the business, because I want that operator to stay. And I'm giving a very lucrative contract to the operator, but I want the operator to be part of my organization, enterprise, because that operator is an asset to my enterprise. So in this way, I can attract the operator to remain part of my enterprise, because that operator can contribute so much to my enterprise. What are businesses made of? People. What is an army made of? People. So if I can attract that operator that I know is gifted, I win big. So I'm willing to buy the business because of the operator, even though the business is not as valuable as the operator is. But if I purchase the business based on the condition that the operator will come in with the business, that's very valuable to me. But not all cash. Partial cash with the long-term partial payments for the business, and of course through the operator for working it. So it's a transitional purchase over time. If it's when it's done, I'll let you know about that. And I'm looking for more. Okay, and I'm looking for more. So a few others are in the pipeline. So for example, I have a business that I started, and it's new, it's growing. And this other one that I'm talking about is going to complement this, and it's going to actually save about a year to a year and a half of business engineering and development time for this other new business. because this one has been around for a very long time. So this one is going to come in and actually save it time. It has all the contracts, blah, 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 plus the operator. So if the two come together, it's going to save this one a lot of time. It's going to give it a lot of value, but it's also going to bring in the operator. So it's going to benefit it in so many different ways. Synergy, asset, value, and 2 licenses. One of this, one of this. Plus I'm actually getting a second certificate, which is going to make this a third type of actually second type of a business. I'll teach you guys about that stuff later. A lot of idiosyncrasies, okay? Especially in the healthcare industry. There's so much things in the healthcare industry which is amazing, okay? 35 years in that industry, besides other businesses and industries, okay? So there is a lot to learn, a lot of different things to understand, strategies, details, my passion, okay? Things happen in my business. I had to lay some people off. I had to do that to test some people's devotion, even though I was gonna have, I knew them and they were gonna come back. But some of them, I wasn't sure if they were really devoted. They pretended to be, but I had a feeling they weren't. So I basically just said, hey, you know what? We're gonna have to let some people go. And as soon as I posed that, guess what? There was some kind of a revolt. Those who were real devoted, they stood by me. Those who were not real devoted, all of a sudden they turned against me. What a good test, huh? All of a sudden, my operator of a business that was extremely devoted looking, pretending to be top guy, he turned against me within no time. Me. Nothing about the organization and anybody else's welfare. All about me. You, your fault, me. I go, okay, I get it. Test. What did we say about army? Devotion, commitment. Because when you're going through a challenging time, certain people stand by you, certain people don't. And certain people who stand by you because of their benefit, not your benefit or the organization's benefit, because of their pocket, because of the money. So what if you cut the money? Do they still stand by you? That's the test you need to make. So what is the level of commitment, and what commitment do they have? Is it to the organization or is it to the money? Because that makes all the difference. Right? So, as painful and hard as it was, I had to make that decision, determination, because we were top heavy a little bit. And I didn't want to just make the decision based on the wrong criteria. So I learned who really is devoted and who pretends to be. Took a while. Real colors showed. True devoted soldiers stood by me, and those who pretended to be literally stabbed me in the back. Or the organization. It does happen, so it's okay, because we're prepared for that. They had passwords, they had this, they had that, thing, that, this. And some of them didn't, just benign, no problem. So it's good. You gotta test your team sometimes. That's the purpose of this teaching. You gotta test your team sometimes, right? To see who's real devoted, who pretends to be devoted. Okay, so this conversation, as you see, is sort of like doesn't have a structure. I'm just sort of like all over the map, right? Okay, so I pretty much went all over the map here. I sort of shared a bunch of things, and the long conversation that I had, I guess, monologue, and I'm back. So I am going to start organizing my presentations more. I am going to prepare them a bit more. I am going to not have as much of a monologue, and I am going to have more of an academic and educational presentations and prepared ones. Due to lack of time, it may not be as it was before every day. It may even be once a week. But I try to up the quality of it and make it more valuable, so that when you watch them, you feel that you are watching something much more worthwhile. And I'm going to also improve my technique of recording this thing, because I know that I should be looking over there, but I'm looking over here. So, so I don't really have a good eye contact with you guys. I'm looking probably in that direction while your eyes are probably there. So anyway, a lot of adjustments. Practice next time.